as we get ready for another night of tapping in the realization of rings of morality. I always do that. Like the wrong way. Put that down like that. Open it like that. Oops. Come back. The rings of morality, the thought processes of us. When you get to a certain level, and I always thought about it when I thought about when I was like younger, 5%ers, listening to Wu-Tang albums and Rakim and all these 5%ers, and they said they were always righteous. And I was like, yo, but y'all selling dope. Y'all doing this and this and this with the righteousness. But then I take the thought process. I saw a video today, a couple of days ago. And in you becoming a God, you coming into your higher self, the things that kept you at balance at the lower level of yourself no longer works at this level. One big thing we need to look at as you're looking at your higher self is the things that used to keep you balanced. It's still the same balance, it's just you're at a different vibration, you're at a different frequency. Certain things the things that you used to like, you used to do when you were little, that you would say yourself never seen yourself doing. Now, when you're at this space or at this time, 1 second. Now that you're in this space, now that you're in this time, now that you're in this realm of existence, those things no longer play out the way they used to play out. You're at a different frequency, you're at a different vibration. The things that you used to see. One thing that I had a thought process about it the other day when I was changing out my nose ring. A lot of the things that I do now, I would have never done when I was younger. I could never see myself in the image that I am in now. I cannot understand the image that I am now based on the level of knowledge that I attained at that time in that space. Just like that changes in your mental, your mentality changes constantly. Our mentalities constantly change, they constantly shift, they constantly be in mentalism. I said we're going to get deeper into the laws this week. We must first understand the laws of the universe. We have to understand based on knowing and not on belief, not using it just to fit one side or the other to keep us in that, because that causes the imbalance. The first thing that I saw with the D Wade thing, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, da da da! His child doesn't know this, and da da da." The normal uproar and how everybody was thinking, and something for him to connect to. Boosie said something to that nature, but in my mind, I was like, "Yo." The first thing I thought about was D Wade already came out some months ago talking about he was bisexual. And his wife, Gabrielle, she accepted what the fuck he was. So I looked at that like, oh wow, what's the common denominator? When we're getting into the occult sciences, we're not looking at one side or the other. We're looking at both sides to provide balance to our rise. We're not looking at one side or the other anymore. As you're vibrating, the vibration is changing, your frequency is changing. You cannot apply the same mechanics that you applied at that level that was lower than it. Because all that shows you is that you haven't learned anything. You haven't learned anything. You haven't learned everything you need to learn from that level. That's why that level still can get you emotional. I always use the analogy, whenever you have a job, you say you hate your job, master every part of your job in order to truly have no use for it. Hate is the lack of understanding. Fear is the lack of understanding or wanting to understand. Love is the ultimate understanding. Love is the conduit to that energy of the ultimate understanding or embarking on understanding something. It's all how you put it in your mind. It's all in your mentality. It doesn't matter what definition you put to it, but if you do not understand the original mechanics of said word or of said term, it still has power based on that. You don't understand it yet, therefore it still has power with them. Same thing when you think about white supremacy and racism. It still has power over you because you're putting all of your negative thoughts into that. You need that balance, you need that conduit, you need that totem in order to have a reason to do what you're doing. Everything you should be doing should be coming into the knowledge, understanding yourself, gaining knowledge, understanding your prosperity, understanding your abundance, understanding your strengths, understanding your weaknesses, the shadow work. Everything you should be doing should be under the passion of you taking yourself to the next level. If it's not worth you putting in that, if you cannot put the same passion that you put into getting your face and getting yourself in order throughout the day, you can't put that same energy into where your job is, or dealing with your family, or dealing with something, anything else external that's not true to the internal you. Why are you even doing it? Why are you giving it your energy? That separation that I keep talking about, that separation is needed. Everything that's being shown to you at this level is showing you that this isn't you. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't me. That ain't the vibe for me. Then after you make that decision, why do you keep going back to it? Because that's the plight of the black people. That's the plight of my people. The plight of your people is knowledge. The plight of my people, or the people that are around me at any given time, is knowledge. Acquiring more knowledge. Sacrificing and learning how to sacrifice to gain more knowledge. Learn how to apply their knowledge throughout the day. Learn how to apply their knowledge that they learned throughout their week. And then going back to it and saying, ooh, that means something else. Picking up the same book six times, and always having a different meaning to it or a different interpretation because I went through a different level of knowing. Those are my people. My people are not the people, and this is how you understand there's levels to this consciousness, to your that spirituality, that consciousness, that awakening. You can't get stuck on one level. For me, I no longer dwell in the mindset of I gotta make sure my family right, and I gotta make sure that this happened, and I gotta make sure that this is happening for my people, and I gotta make sure that this is happening. All you're doing is telling yourself and setting yourself up for something to keep you bonded, or something to keep you there, or keep you morally imbalanced. Everything that you're doing at the Godhead level, coming into your spirituality, is bringing you in balance at the vibration that you're on. Anything that is distracting you from coming into your higher self and standing on your square of yourself is imbalance to the righteousness of being a God. Imbalance to the righteousness of you being higher, coming from a higher level. You have to take yourself out of the mentality of thinking as a human and start thinking as a God. Humanity and ego, they're thinking about. I saw a post today. It was about the KKK, and now the FBI wants to acknowledge them as a terrorist organization. They've been organized as a terrorist organization. You've seen over and over and over again when it holds no purpose for them, they're cast it to the side. Similar to when you look at just looking at the attributes of Set and how they were separated into Osiris and Maya, and all the balances, the principles of this. And then you go even deeper when they go further. They took those same principles and then they put them into the Orishas. Then they took the same principles and turned them into the voodoo rites. Everything's synonymous based on the level of where it needs to be needed at, based on the polarity and the correspondence to that level of vibration. So with saying that, as we're going into our higher selves, this is how we need to start seeing things. This is how we need to start adjusting our bearing. What we're allowing our light to be bared upon. Remember, we're the only power source. We're the only true power source. And us being the only true power source, they need your attention, they need your energy, they need your signature in order for anything to happen. So I look back, I'm gonna go back to the thing where I talk about Gabrielle Union. The Gabrielle Union accepted D-Wade bisexuality. D-Wade now accept their son, daughter, whatever the hell he wants to be, accepts his one become a transgender. You look at Oprah, you look at Gail in her interview with Lisa Leslie talking about Kobe. You look at Oprah Winfrey and the constant demonizing of the entertainers of this time, Michael Jackson and Prince, like trying to always go into that level. You look at Wendy Williams and her interview talking about the LGBT community. You look at all of these Black women in this phase of accepting or showing the truth of something. The common denominator is coming from that spiritual level. That feminine energy is exposing things for what it truly is. As above, so below. You may not like it, but it's not to be liked. You may think it's good or bad, but it's not good or bad. We have to look at it as negative and positive. How does this serve me? How does it not serve me? If it doesn't serve me, then I don't pay it attention. I'm aware that it's there, but I don't give it my attention. I don't give it my energy. If it serves me in a certain way of learning, then I can now look at it from afar because I'm aware that it's there. As it comes into my field of view, I can see it from a grander scape. So when you look at the grander scape, you're looking at all these Black women, doesn't matter if they coons or whatever the fuck you want to call them, boule, whatever the fuck they may be, on the spiritual level, it is showing you and exposing your eyes, exposing your true self to the space that you are in is going to have to become so uncomfortable that you have no choice but to go forward. Examples of that in your life every single day. One example for that is if I sat here in the aspect of myself, just thinking about myself and moving around with myself and thinking about myself and so many different things. If I thought about myself from 1999 in comparison to myself now, from 1999 until now, in 1999 I was just starting the ninth grade. I started in ninth grade early. That also goes against the line. I was a premature twin. My twin brother didn't make it. Grandmother said she was having dreams that I ate my brother in the womb. Little things like that come up. You weren't ready for it at that point in time because you couldn't. It's not that you're not ready for it. It's like you just couldn't embrace it at that time. So I look from 99 to me now. I look at pictures of myself from then till now. Everything about me now is the exact opposite on the extreme polarity and duality and correspondence in my vibration, my frequency, my mentalism, going with the 7 laws. My balance is leaps and light years away different than what I was when I was back in 1998, 1999. I still carry that same energy. I just have more of it because I'm tapped into more of it. I saw a post the other day, and my man was talking about you can be spirit, you can have enlightenment and stay the exact same. You can be the same dude you was back then. I was like, and at that same time, I saw that on Monday, and I was sitting there like, that don't even make fucking sense. And then it corresponded with me dropping the notes. I was just finished recording the episode for the podcast, Polarity and Duality. I just finished recording it, just finished making sure the music was right, just finished doing the editing and putting everything in, setting the publishing time. I just started doing the video ad and putting the video ad on my Facebook and my Instagram and my Twitter. And I hear that and I'm like, yo, that is a moment of hearing in real time the synchronicity of you on 2 different extremes. That's it. I was like, damn, yo, I really saw that in real time. I heard that, saw that in real time, the balance of 2 different extremes. You don't do all of this work. You're not putting in all this work to stay the fucking same. I did not put in all of this work to be hidden in plain sight under submitting to the attributes of the ideal base of what I need to be at this level to stay the exact same. It's implausible. It's an asinine thought to actually think like, yo, you know what I'm about to do? I'm still going to do this and I'm still going to do that, even though I know the detrimental, devolved sense of purposing it does to my life. Because my grandmother did it, my mom did it, my father did it, my great aunt did it, my uncle did it. That doesn't make it moral. That makes it an egotistical defense. Doing things in the mindset of based on an egotistical trauma or defense doesn't make it morally balanced. We've been given morality. We've been given morality based on the level of correspondence. We've been given morality based on the level of this vibration. I can give you 2 extremes, and then you're in the middle trying to decide which one you're going to go to. Not looking for the purpose in the knowledge in this side and the knowledge and the purpose in this side. It's 2 different extremes. It's 2 different balances. If you don't put your mindset into understanding both sides, that's how you find your balance. I never could do a porno, but you'll sneak off in your motherfucker, go sneak off in that room and watch porn and pick up some tips and think that that's sex on a lower level of understanding. While the other, I go grab a book, Kama Sutra, Tantric breathing, any text related to the subject on the intellectual level. This is the experience level, this is the intellectual level. And then it's still sitting in between and say, there's no one worth me even doing this with because no one's going to understand where I'm at. But the person that's sitting on the, as I always say with that, the ones that have been, motherfuckers that have been in the streets, wilding out, going fucking crazy, those are the ones that are sitting down now and they're reflecting on what the fuck they've done. Trying to see what it all means. The ones that have been reading that book, sitting on the porch, sitting on the stoop the entire time, is their turn to wild out. On this level, that's all you're seeing. The same kids that were told, the droves and droves of kids that were told, you can't do this until you're grown. Yeah, I'm grown, that's why I can do this. I'm grown, that's why I can do this. That's been programmed into their head that when you're grown, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So now they got outlets of doing what the fuck they want, but they're doing it based on trauma of being told they can't do something until they're grown. But they weren't given any knowledge pertaining to them being grown or actually growing up. So you're starting at the same space that your grandfather started at. The same moral compass that your mother had, that your father had, that's the one you're using right now. Because you, somewhere in your mind, you feel like if I go against my mother, do I love her? Will she still love me? If I'm going against my father, will he still love me? If I go against this narrative that's been written, that's all I've ever known, will they still love me? If I lead a game, will they still love me? You'll make up morals every single fucking day based on where you at. Yo, I'm in the streets, so I got to do this, man. I got to eat. Yo, I'm in the streets, so I got to eat, man. So I got to do what I got to do out here. You created your own moral compass. You created your own moral bounds. You created based on the environment that you are in, how you navigate through it. No one can give you morals. You know morally what's wrong, what's negative, and what's positive, what's wrong and what's right. As you rise up, you see what's negative and what's positive. Because at this level right here, you know it's morally inherently wrong to kill your mother. You know it's morally inherently wrong to kill your sister or sibling or somebody. But as you're going higher up and it gets more into the mental and you're getting more into the spiritual, you'll see every mythos is talking about the Titans, the gods, Zeus, they killed their parents. They were killing aspects of energy in order for them to live. So you have to, breaking down understanding, you look at the Kabbalah and Hermeticism, you have to kill that idea of what your mother was. That's what I mean by fuck them kids and fuck your mother. You have to kill the idea of what your mother was in an emotional aspect in order to understand what she was set there for. What you decided when on your trip down here, what you decided she was going to represent. You have to look at it as, what does this person, what does this totem, this conduit that is in my life represent? What do white people mean? They're a devolved aspect of you. They're a reflection of you on a devolved aspect. Their behavior is based on a devolved aspect of you. So as they rose into their selves, they created a moral structure for them based on their superiority. They built their shit off an intellectual intellectual morality. Don't kill your mother. Don't kill your father. If you do that, then you can go be insane. They created loopholes and everything else based on their understanding, based on their behaviors, based on their status quo. Their status quo is to seek and destroy. They gather, seek, and destroy. That's all they've ever done. All the white side, all the light does is refract everything else. White is the void of all color. Black is the original where all color comes from. So you need this extreme over here to understand this extreme over here. If this is all where it comes from, this is all where it goes when it dies. So if you're fighting over and over and over again, this is one thing to think about. This is where it all comes from. This is where it all dies. Where do you lay in between this? What side do you find yourself fighting more for? This is those two life paths. The light path, the path of light and the path of darkness. Remember, they programmed demonizing because you didn't have the aspect of understanding words on an intellectual level. So you went off the feeling. So if someone says demon, you're like, yeah, demon means bad. I don't fuck with demons. I fuck with demons all the time. I'm always fucking with different levels of magic and intelligence. That's what happened when you study the spirit, and voodoo means spirit, the spiritual intelligence of the spirit, the voodoo. So you look at that like, oh, that ain't that bad. You do the same, you do this shit unconsciously. Think about all the things you're doing unconsciously that once you come into your awakening, welcome to the game. Once you take yourself to the next level, think about the things that you look at on a different perspective because you have more knowledge of it. The first time that you didn't inherently know how to have sex, but you inherently knew to go up and down and in and out. Your rhythm may have been off. You may have did it too fast at first. It may have hurt more times than whatever. But the more knowledge, the more that you got into it, the more understanding, the more knowledge you applied, and the better you got at it. But that's based on the lower vibration. That's based on its polarity. That's based on the correspondence of your understanding based on the level that you're at. So now that you have a deeper understanding into understanding, like you look at the sexual energy exchange and you understand that every time that you do that, you're tapping into the spirit realm or your higher self based on your level of knowledge and understanding of yourself and your partner is how you go to those next levels. Having sex with an empath, having sex with somebody that can shapeshift, that can change their shit. Pandy talked about that in his sex lecture. I talked about some deep stuff like that in my sex lecture, which is at 700 views. I appreciate that support on that. But you have to take your mindset out of this thought process of where you're at based on the moral compass that no longer can. You looking at a moral compass that can give you it's always going to point one way at this higher level because it cannot read on that field. When we think about righteousness is the rights of that person, rights of you at that level. So if you're at the human level, righteousness is whatever's been given to you. Morality is whatever's been given to you. When you go to the God level, you're in that creator level, you create your own balances for your righteousness. You create your own balances for your morality. You create your own balances for the level that you're at because you're now taking responsibility for the causes and effects of all of your actions. Being stuck in this ring down here is because you have a lack of understanding. You don't understand something yet. Locking yourself into man, I don't want to do it over here no more. Why? It's like going to a club. That's like going to the club. It's like, yeah, it's like going to the club. At a point in time in your life, in your level of your life, you stop going to the club because there was nothing there for you. You stopped going to certain spaces because there was nothing there for you. It didn't feed you. It didn't fulfill you. Now you got to look broader spectrum. Look at the clubs that have been shown to you as in front of you that you have to accept. In order for something to be accepted, in order to accept a certain level at a lower level, a lower vibration on the below half, it must be able to be corrupted in that system. It must be able to be manipulated in that system. Corruption is not, remember, negative and positive, not good and bad. Because if you get to the higher levels, you have to allow yourself to be corrupted or fall into a corruption or destruction of your old self. So you allow yourself to be corrupted by humanity, your ego, or you're going to allow yourself to be corrupted and destroyed in the higher levels to take yourself to your truer you, the untouchable part of yourself. That's where you're reaching to. So the corruption at this level is a reflection of the corruption at the higher levels. It's exposing. It's showing you at this level, there ain't nothing down here for you, but you still want to be a part of it. I still want to be, fuck, I don't want to be a part of none of this shit. Bravo to Gail for her interview. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. We just looking at it from the outside looking in, not understanding that when an interview is done, you don't come on to an interview without having a script in front of you of the questions that you're going to ask anyway. Because that's how you build the people that you're going to talk to. That's how you build your guests. Understanding this script. That goes into the thought process. You don't walk outside when it's raining without an umbrella. Unless you don't give a fuck about rain. You don't walk outside without an umbrella. You prepare based on the knowledge of what you have, what you know, what you're going to go into. That's what you invite in. So if your mindset's always on a negative, on that negative side of the polarity of your duality of yourself, then you're always going to let negative things in. You're always going to let negative things in and the negative conduits of those thoughts. And you're going to create the totems that make you comfortable with your power level at that space. That goes into the aspect of the devil or your level, the Satan aspect of the lower half of your animal nature. And why his tail is always pointing down. Or when you look at certain photos, his tail is pointing up. Everything's pointing up. You ever looked at the pictures and ever realized that when they show a picture of the devil, there's Satan, Saturn, they always show he's always pointing up, his tail is pointing up, the pitchfork's pointing up, because he's ascending. He's showing you ascension. They're always put him down, but he's always standing up. He's always standing on his square based on his level of understanding. Against all odds and everything that goes against him, he's standing on his fucking square. No way. Locking you into the thought processes of your constant torment of your animal self. You only can be tormented if you don't have an understanding of it. It only can torment you if you do not have the understanding of it. It only can corrupt you at this level and make you emotional and make you sad and make you want to act out and lash out in savage ways because it's unnatural to you. Your righteous right, your righteous self. That's the reason you act out. Two sides of the extreme. I always wonder why at the winners destroyed the city. I always wondered why the winners destroyed the city. It was never the it was never the it was never the other side. It was always the winners that destroyed the city. You never saw the losers destroy anything. Why is that? Why? Because it's easier to blame your acts. It's easier to blame your acts of your life if you got a scapegoat from something higher. Based on your devolved sense of understanding. Monkeys throwing shit. Looking at things for what they are, their origins. That's why I always talk about origin stories. You always got to go back to the origins of things. You cannot change anything that's already been crafted by design to fit that space, to that correspondence. You'll never change police brutality and police accidentally killing black boys and black people because that's what they were designed to do. You're accepting that is your first step in accepting your ass is not fucking human. The first police officers were slave catchers, and they protected the plantation owners' goods. Through evolution, through the changes, through the evolution of you, this is how it works. Through the evolution and the transmutation of your power, the elements changed. We can't lynch them anymore. We have to we can't lynch them anymore because we're understanding more and more that they're sustainable for a reason. They're not going anywhere. We can't let them go anywhere. Let's make it more comfortable on the burning house. So we can't lynch them anymore. But we can lock them up. We can create a law about locking them up. Let's do that. Now that we're going through our transition as we're rising, everything around you is going to devolve anyway. Go back to its natural state. So the police brutality, the killings, the murders, that's natural to their behavior. It's natural to their behavior. They ain't got no morals. They ain't got no Jesus. They ain't got no God. You're their God. Every sacrifice that they do, you can reverse engineer it to empower you. When Nipsey Hussle died, the energy shifted in how we embraced it. His mother got on stage in front of the living and the dead and spoke words from the highest spiritual level of understanding, exposing what shit truly is. From there, this is when I noticed it. From there, everything started happening faster. The deceptions and the depictions of their illusions and the distractions started happening faster because they're losing the hold. The only thing that keeps them in power is your attention to them. The only thing that keeps any of this stuff in balance is your attention to it. You're the other half of the balance. As long as you're on one side being in fear, in anger, in anguish, they're in the other side being in victory. Because it doesn't matter what you say, how many protests you do, you still got to go buy Sharpies. You still got to go buy poster board, sticks, folder pickets. You still got to go buy shit. And that still stimulates the economy. So they're ultimately about money on an evolved sense. They're all about money. So how are they losing? But I got it from a black-owned place. It don't matter if you got it from a black, Asian, whatever it may be, whatever race it, whatever color it may be. That money still hits their pockets through taxes. So what are you really doing? You can tell yourself that you're advancing your culture, advancing your people, but you're really not doing anything. Pop the bubble. You're really not doing anything. Because is your home in order? Home is where the heart is. And that's not talking about wherever your love of your life is. Home is where the heart is. You have one life partner. You've always had one life partner. You've always had one soulmate. They've been with you the entire time of your life. Anything outside of you is a reflection of that partner that's always been present. Yourself. So home being where the heart is, and the heart being the true mind, is your heart and mind in order? What are you doing with your heart and mind in order that's causing everything to shift? That's similar when you walk to the thought process of, I don't have the same friends I had 10 years ago. My friends ain't the same, man. They all doing the same shit. Damn, why? Like, ain't nobody doing nothing different. They always talking about drinking. They always talking about smoking. They always talking about doing this, and the third. Ain't no advancement, but they still my friends. They were there when I went through my breakup. They were there when I lost my job. They were there when I got my first job. But now that I don't have a job and I'm doing a career, what is their purpose? That goes into the thought process, like listening when you say shit to certain people about your excitements to your life, with things that you've been doing. Listen to how they sound. Do they sound dry? Or do they sound excited? The true understanding of it, if anybody around me is doing something and they're advancing, I'm going to big them up like I would big myself up, because I know that I'm in alignment to the energy, to the source of power that I need to be around. I know I'm in the game, because you only know you're in the game when you in the game. You only know you in the box when you outside the box. You know you in the game. You know you on the right path when you see the synchronicities. You see the numbers, 1111s and 222s. Yesterday was 2020. You know you're in alignment. You know you're on the right path. You know you resonating at a different frequency. The thing that's stopping you is your morality. The thing that's stopping you is that ring of morality. The thing that made you comfortable in your identity, not in what you are becoming. You're still stuck on who you are. Whatever you must do in order to tap into the what you are, you must take a deeper understanding of what you have to embrace. That fire. You have to embrace that energy. Okay, if you're not embracing that energy, you're setting yourself up to fall. It's an emotional thing. I just recently had a conversation with somebody coming into their awakening, and their exact words to me were, yo, everything that you said, like it was like she had a moment to herself, and she was like, I was sitting there because she had like a couple triumphs in her life based on things that she was wanting to do, setting her intentions. And she was sitting in a car with her friend, and she was like, maybe you should start doing this. And her friend immediately said, what worked for you is not going to work for me. And she had two decisions. She said to herself, she told me later, she was like, all I did was like, well, whatever it is, maybe your vexes might be an issue or a common factor in what you're doing. You may need to slow down. And then she went on from there. But she was like, at that moment, everything that she had read, everything that she had heard, anything that I exposed her to, the context kicked in and it made sense. That's how you know you've reached your level of enlightenment. Because everything comes into context that you've already heard and you want more. A lot of people are still stuck in the emotional vex of anything's better than where I was before. So that's when you get in that mindset of replacing Jesus for Set. Or you replace Jesus with Osiris. You replace Jesus and Allah with an Orisha or Papa Legba or Baron Samni or Mama Brigitte, Cristo del Negro. You're replacing one for the other. Now understanding that they're all you to begin with. They're a different perspective of you anyway. You should be tapping into your energy and understanding your power to similar to how you understand yourself. But in order to do that, you got to first understand who you are and how it all lines up. That's how you find context. Removing yourself from the morality or the morality that was indoctrinated upon you helps you tap into your true self. Anything lower than that's on a lower vibration, so it's coming from a devolved mindset. I cannot have a conversation with my mother. It would become emotional based on the mindset. She's on a devolved mindset that's derived in emotion. So now I see her as what she is and what she meant for me, what she was meant to teach me. Outside of learning how to cook and take care of myself and clean clothes and all of that, what did she teach me? What were her behaviors? What were her patterns? My mother's a very passive aggressive person, but she's super loving because she would sit there and take that taught me that taught me the understanding of, in order to understand something, you must, being passive aggressive on the lower level, is you must allow yourself to submit to the act. That taught me more further, teaching myself to submit myself to the attributes of the ideal of what it is in that space in order to learn from that space. Once the discomfort comes in, once the comfort kicks in, that's when I know I'm going to get uncomfortable. So if I keep going back to this same space over here, no one is making me uncomfortable because I got to shut off my higher self. I don't need to go over there. And then the voices in your head, was it this conversation that you had that you're trying to create a totem to say it? Because in the back of your mind, you're like, that's my mother. I love my mother. I love my mother. That's my mother. But my mother's not she's not serving me the level that I need to be served at. That's when you meet the friend that don't like their mother, and then you got the other friend that loves their mother. You have two extremes to pick from. You have two extremes to learn from. The motherfucker that never had a mother, and the motherfucker that had his mother and is still sucking on his mother's teeth. You have both sides of that polarity. Your duality on both sides of that path, that's your crossroads. You understanding your lower self to tap into your higher self, and both sides of the polarity, that's that crossroad. Understanding your power on that crossroad. That crucifixion that happens, they talk about the crucifixion story of Jesus. That's when you died and fell into your body. Those 3 nails that were made out of iron locked you into your body. They locked you. Iron, they always say iron is the shit that wards off spirits. They said it in Supernatural and all these other movies. It bonds the spirit. It keeps the spirit away. It keeps spiritual intelligence away. So you allowed yourself to be hung, and now you woke back up 3 days later. Which in reality, you mastered your bottom 3 chakras, and then you got into your next chakras. You are bounded to your heart. You stood in your truth, and you died to your truth of yourself. And then you rose, and then you spoke life because you saw the truth. And now you're crowned, now you're attached to your higher self. The entire crucifixion story, just in 32 seconds. That's your crucifixion. You're going through your crucifixion phase. Now you got to find new balance in your morality at this level. Because you don't, but you have examples of what it was below, now you're above it. You know, below you, these niggas out here chopping off their fucking dicks. You know, below you, a man just got Woman of the Year. The devolved sense of the rise of the feminine. And what they're willing to do at that level to say is based on ego. Everything is based on ego at this level. So if I say it's my right to be gay, that's my ego. Because I'm going against the moral. I created my own line of morality that I'm dealing with the consequences of me saying such. I'm a lesbian. You're accepting the level, you're allowing that level of corruption. You're allowing yourself to be corrupted at that level to stay at that level and get everything from that level. I'm a real nigga. You defined yourself and allowed yourself to be corrupted by that definition in that space. I'm a bad bitch. Same thing over and over and over again. Based on that same level of polarity and that lack of understanding. Most of these motherfuckers don't even want to go to the top part of themselves. So they stay right here in the middle of the crossroad. The other part right there is dark. It's just the programming of telling them everything's dark's bad. They won't go higher. So they stay in this space and they dwell in this realm. They dwell in between these 3 poles. It all has to mean something. It all has to mean something. And then created for them as an image for them to look at. He forgives all no matter what happens. Mindset for me is like, why the fuck would I do it in the first place? If I'm not going to embrace what the fuck it is, why the hell would I do it? If I'm not going to step all the way into it, why the hell would I do it? Why would I leave myself locked away from myself somehow? Why would I hinder myself from my fucking growth? Why would I allow myself to be distracted? Getting into that mindset as you rising into your higher self, it shifts the paradigm of who you are. It shifts the paradigm of what you see fit for yourself. What you see fit for yourself is what you see fit for you. I remember 4 years ago, I used to look at the little I looked at septum rings. I was like, yo, that's the ugliest shit on chicks. Like that shit looked mad fucking ugly. But then at that level, I was looking at the chicks that had it. They were all doing it based on a trend. On the below half. And then I'm looking like less than a couple weeks ago, now like at least a month I did at the top of January. And now whenever I see pictures of queens with septums, I'm like, yo, that is like the most immaculate embrace. And that pressed me taking in the knowledge, looking at like the Indian, like the Hindu culture, like all different cultures, that how they wore their dresses, how they addressed themselves, to tapping into that energy of themselves, identifying themselves with the attributes of the gods and the principles that they were allowing to possess them. It made sense to me. On the lower level, they show you that they give you an archetype of something that's on a smaller scale of what it looks like. And you're like, oh, that's what the motherfuckers look like, based on your understanding. So if you sit here and say, I would never define myself as doing that. So if I would not define myself by doing that, that's the archetype or the totem that I would create to make me not want to go do that. Now, take your mind back and think about that from that scale, grand scheme of things. Do that over and over and over and over again. Exposing, remember, negative is that light in this aspect, and keep putting light on something. You noticed everything you didn't like about yourself and you put it into something. You automatically, it lights up. You remove it. And you keep putting it into another body or into another archetype. Now you got to find something to holster and hold all of that energy. So you graft something into it. Then you graft physical attributes of it to hold and contain that energy. Now do that over and over and over again. Now, oh shit, nigga, you mean I ain't gotta think about all the negative shit, all my negative thoughts and shit that's ungodly? All right, cool. I'll do the same thing. Now do that over and over and over again. You created these different totems. All right. Now you know you about to go to sleep. Think about this. You know you about to go to sleep. And when you wake up, you're gonna be in Tartarus. You're gonna be in your lower half in the animal. You're gonna be in the animal of the physical world. So you went to sleep and you wake up, you weren't there. All your shit was left on the walls. Shit kept going on as you went to sleep. And then you start waking up. What's the first thing you're gonna see to challenge you? Oh shit. Everything that you took away from yourself in imbalance has to go back in to rebalance. At the devolved mindset, that's where you get white people from. Neanderthals, RH, monkey gene, whatever all the knowledge that we acquired from that is everything that you put into that is what you were. As a human, mankind, when you were here in the physical, when the spiritual world was physical and the physical world was invisible. Well, when the spiritual world was visible and the physical world was invisible. So when you look at it like that, you're like, wait, I create, yeah. Once you accept that you're a God and you're the creator and you the original, that means you created everything. So the things that are bonding you is your moral disbelief that I would never create something that monstrous. I would never create something like that. But in reality, your righteousness gave you the right to create that. You created that conduit, that totem, to do everything that you no longer felt worthy of doing. You created that shit. We created that of what we see now. We're so far ahead that we're now behind, and now that's what's in front of us. You created the deities that now run this realm. You can take your power back at any given time, but you must accept what is to happen. If they're no longer in power, what were you doing when you were in power? They are devoid. They're the evolved version of you. They're a devolved version of your behavior and your emotional thoughts. That's what people serve as a purpose in your life. Every reflection of you. Friends, family, lovers, whoever you've been with, what you're doing, they're a reflection of a part of you that you need to better understand, or a remnant of something based on your emotional self. That's why the friend that is always talking about their problems, you don't want to listen to anymore because you've learned how to solve your own problems. That's why the guy or the chick that you used to find so fucking fly, and she was sexy, she was beautiful, she was all these things, no longer serves any purpose. Like, damn, man, she ain't bad no more. Of course she ain't bad no more. She serves you no fucking purpose. Why would she be bad to you? She don't serve no purpose to you. But morality and ego will keep you stuck with the person that you no longer need to be with. It'll keep you fighting at odds with shit that you no longer need to fight with. Your morality and your ego keep you fighting against the white man. Because that's all you've ever known, that's all you've ever seen, is fighting against the white man. I can't stand fuck niggas. I can't stand fake niggas. These bitch ass niggas, they ain't no real men. The reason they're so predominant in your life is because that's all you've ever seen. Was you've had two extremes. You saw your father, a father figure, whether it be an uncle, grandfather, be an excellent man to your fucking grandmother or mother or aunt or whomever. On the other end of that, they apparently didn't see that. So as a reflection, apparently it's something that you did not see. That's the only reason that they can become prominent in your life, because it's something that you have never seen. It's something that you didn't accept. That's how you get stuck. That's how the syphilis gets you stuck. And then you look for scapegoats instead of looking to understand it. You look for scapegoats. Oh, that's an Aries. I see why. Them Aries niggas is like that. Oh, motherfuckers are fucking Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio niggas is like that. So I'm not going to deal with them based on that. You look for a scapegoat for not to deal with it. And that shit goes deeper than just the fucking zodiac. Because of a lack of understanding of yourself being of all, you don't lack the, I'm going to keep showing you this. God, why you keep putting these fake niggas in my life? Because something in you's fake. You're faking something. Plain simple term. Why you keep putting these bitches that don't like me in my life? Because there's something about you don't like. Something about you haven't accepted. There's something about you haven't learned how to feed from it. Both sides. Whether a motherfucker loves me or hates me or perceives to love me or hate me, that energy, I'm taking both sides. Because regardless, I know what I am, so I stand in what I am. You can hate me or love me for it. I'm still going to say what I say. I'm still going to move how I move. I'm going to project. I'm going to be what I am. Because I am what I am. I stand in that confidence of myself. If you can't step into every situation and say that, look at that situation and learn from why you can't say it. Because they're going to say this. Fuck does it matter what they say? You have your knowledge. You have your information. You have the information. You took from the information what you needed that resonated with you the strongest, and it took you to your next level, and that's what you're standing on. You're not standing in their belief. You're not standing in their perception. You're standing in your truth. That's going to create a lot of fucking separation naturally. Your morality and your ego is like, that doesn't feel right. You mean we can't have no friends? Ain't it about having no friends? It's about motherfuckers that are in tune with you on the same level. I don't want friends. I need family. I want family. I want motherfuckers on that same wavelength as me. Motherfuckers that are going to challenge me. If everybody around me doing the same fucking shit, who the fuck's challenging who? That puts a lot of energy on one motherfucker to have to challenge everybody. You got to have that Kevin Gates mentality. Everybody around me is putting in work. You got to have that Dame Dash thought process from back in the day with Rockefeller when he was breaking down the DJ Clue and them, talking about all of y'all have to perform as a boss or as the leader. Because if he go away, he got to do a bid, and y'all waiting on him to do something. All y'all gonna stay stagnant. Everybody around you should have a level or a talent in that gift and being in tune with their gift and talent while feeding and corresponding with each other. That way, it doesn't matter if I go to sleep, everybody still can move forward. That's the main thought process when it comes into that collective consciousness, talking about that unity. Unity doesn't exist, but it still exists. That's the contradiction on both sides, light and dark. My unity doesn't my unity for me doesn't exist in the light, because the definition of unity in that light is bounded to that light. I gotta stay in this light. I gotta stay in this area. I gotta stay in this outfit. I gotta stay in this thought process. I gotta stay in this truth. So I gotta live up to that light that was created. That's a narrative that was created for something else based on a lower level. Now that I'm in my higher level, I'm in the dark because I'm creating my own light. I'm spinning this. I'm bringing out that knowledge. I'm bringing out that frequency. I'm spitting at that vibration. So nothing can stop me at this level, because motherfuckers ain't gonna come into this dark. And me knowing that motherfuckers ain't gonna, the only people that can even try to do anything based on their lack of understanding of fear of it, they're not gonna come in here. They ain't gonna come in that room. It's like going into the scene. I was watching Book of Eli last night, and the scene where like he stepped into the dark to make sure they were all on the same equal. He can't see, they can't see in the dark. So he depended, what he had was his intelligence based on his heightened sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of smell, all his heightened others. He was the man that had one eye and everybody else was blind. And he knew how to use that energy. He knew how to use that energy and willing to take himself to the level he needed to do. Nothing took him off of his square and his compass and of his truth. Even in that movie, they showed you where the weakness was. Only if you allow it to be your weakness. Your greatest weakness is actually your greatest strength. Your greatest fear is your greatest potential. Your greatest hate can become your greatest passion, and so on and so forth. But you have to step out of these rings that is based on this morality at this lower level that has you locked in your lower level. You'll never be more creative. You never can embrace creativity. You will never embrace more love. You will never embrace more passion, more desire, until you step into that darkness. Until you become their Satan. Till you become their set. Till you become their darkness. They go in there, they go fucking crazy. because it's not a reflection of them. They can't absorb something that they're not a reflection of. It'll sound like an argument to them. They're stuck in conflict. They're stuck in the levels of conflict. It only can go so high. They need something else as a conduit to take them to that level or to bring power down from that level. You're at that level. So they need your distraction. Even the dead ones, they can pile them all up there and siphon the energy out that way. So who are your people? Who are your people? Who are you saving? Who are you getting right? Those ain't nothing but fucking illusions of your ego. I gotta save the black babies. I told them created. Now I put all my energy into saving black babies. When your mindset should be, it's similar to like when you raising kids, like raising your children. Fuck them kids. The only thing they're gonna pay attention to is the examples that you set forth in your own self. That's the only thing they're actually going to see. So by you saying that they're never ready, when someone says their kids aren't ready for this type of information, what you're saying to yourself is that you're not ready because they're a reflection of you. You're saying that some part of you's not ready. Oh, I'm ready for it. That means they're ready for it because they're a direct reflection of you. If you can't explain it to them, that means you're not ready for the next level. That's the only way you know you're ready to acquire more knowledge, when you're able to display what you've applied. So if you can't display what you've applied, then who are you talking to next? You're still a child yourself. You ever sat down at a child's level when they were little? I sat there, I sit on my nieces and nephews all the time, and I see the world from their vision, and they give me some of the most simplistic answers to why they do something, devoid of ego, devoid of a moral balance, because they haven't been taught that shit yet. They accept it for what it is in their subconscious, like, this is what it is, because this is all I've ever seen. Anything I don't understand, that's when you start seeing monsters under beds, monsters in the closet. You start seeing scary shit going on because they put themselves into the mindset to defend themselves from something. And then it goes further and it gets deeper and then it goes further, and they're adults. You get attacked by a dog when you were little, and now you have an inherent fear of dogs. You don't even remember why you scared of dogs or why you don't like dogs, but you know you don't like dogs. You don't like cats. You don't like this. You don't like that. The things you don't like, the things you don't love, the things that you don't like or you have hate or you have a fear against, it's because of something that you no longer, it's something that you lost in the translation of you. It's something that you put away in a box as you were rising into, as you was creating your identity of who you are. But in order to understand the what you are becoming, you got to go back into that box. Only you have the power to go inside that box. Only you have the power to go into that space where the gods dwell. So you look at the extreme. The extreme devolved sense of evolution based on behavior, of hatred, of fear, of love. The other balance of love is lust. The other balance of love is hatred, fear. All these extremes have been created into a totem that if you can bear and look at it and allow your morality to burn the fuck away, you can see everything that you need to see. They scared to fucking death. They need fucking weapons. They don't have any power. They don't have any power outside of an extension of something that extends their power, that gives them power. They don't have the power to wield it. So it's an extension of power to show them that they're bigger and bad. So I have to create this. I have to create this totem. I got to make guns. I got to make you scared to death first. In order for the weapon to prosper, I got to give you the image. I got to program into you to be scared to death. I got to make you scared, feared, hate. Say all this goes against your belief and what you're willing to do. So you can't even create the scenario in your mind because you have a fearful of the scenario. I create scenarios in my mind all the time. Either I'm the hero or I'm the villain. Sometimes I create the hero and the hero of weaknesses. I created a Mr. Glass archetype, smart as fuck, but the nigga bones kept breaking. But I created a villain that couldn't be stopped because he understood the power of the shadows. My favorite character on Mortal Kombat is Smoke and Noob Saibot. Two favorite characters on Mortal Kombat. I'll fuck with Raiden. I fuck with fucking Scorpion. All the light characters, I never really fucking fuck with. When we go to, every motherfucker went to go see Scarface. Everybody was rooting for Scarface. It wasn't until I got older, I was like, nigga, I want to be Sosa. I want to be the top of the chain of wherever I'm at. That takes you back into understanding the mythos. If I have all this power at this level, and I know the only thing that can stop me is what originally created this level, or the energy. That's when you get into the story of Sophia and how we got the divine sparks, how our souls were inhabited into these vessels. Then I have to keep something down. The only thing that can keep you down is greater than you. You created the human mind. The human mind, the human thought is the only thing that can keep you locked down to where you're at. You created this deity, this intelligence, this intellectualism that keeps your true heart, your true mind, which is the heart, yearning for feeling. You created this mind based on intellect to understand some shit. And you automatically created what locked your heart or your true mind in place. This mind is greater than this mind. This mind has more power than this mind. Think about it like this. Your heart can work without your brain. Not as fast. Your brain can't work without your heart because it needs your heart to pump the blood to it, to pump everything around. The mind just sends signals based on how your heart feels, based on what your stomach feels, based on those based on the gut instinct, your intuition, your feeling. And it sends signals to correspond whatever you're feeling, whatever you're feeling, whatever you see. You're in control. You've always been in control. Nothing can take you out of the control other than you saying you're not in control. Not understanding your power, not understanding your strength, not understanding who you are, what you are, not who you're identifying with. These are those aspects that we need to start breaking it. These are the aspects breaking into and understanding take you to your higher understanding of yourself and why you were kept down in the first place. And then you start seeing every reflection and every conduit and every totem that's been created by your own divine mind that you gave power to. They gave you a Jesus totem, gave you an Allah totem. Hindu, Buddhism, they all have totems. Chief principles that balance the laws of the universe. Chief principles that are all archetypes of the same divine original. They're copies based on their understanding in their behaviors and what they're able to accept. So there's no replacing it with something else because they're all in tune on this level. They all serve a purpose that at a point in time, you either become it or you continue to serve it. That's where becoming and serving comes into play. But they teach it on an exoteric standpoint. So the children of Jesus will always be the children of Jesus. They'll always feed their Jesus, their Zeus. They'll always feed their father. Devoid of their mother. Let's take out the feminine aspect. They'll always feed their father. Allah, they'll always feed the father, honorable father, Allah. And Allah broke down in the woman anyway. They'll always feed Moses. They'll always feed something based on their knowledge. But they can't embrace it and become it because they lack wisdom. And wisdom is the feminine aspect. So as above, so below, that's what it means by Oprah saying what she said, Gail doing what she did, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union doing what they're doing. It's showing you the aspect on this level that the feminine energy is on a rise. But they'll do anything to embrace the counterfeit level of that energy. So they'll counterfeit it. They'll counterfeit. They'll be like, nah, that ain't real. So then that's when you got images on the other extreme. I accept my son wanting to be a woman. We even go get his nails done. That's nice. That's cute. Okay. It's not for you to accept. It's not for you to gripe over or put your feelings into it. It's for you to study it. Study all, follow none. Your morality is what keeps you from studying shit. Your humanity is what keeps you from studying shit. Looking at it for what it is. Looking at it as, nigga, let me understand this more. I love myself. Everything's a reflection of myself and understanding. I need to understand it more. Once you understand it, you take the power back. Once you understand the spell, you're able to manipulate it for your own gain. You're able to reverse the shit. But you're not coming just two different paths. The two different paths of the heart. The left-handed path or the right-handed path. The left-handed path is of true spiritual. It's of true self. You got to take your mindset out of being selfish is bad. No. Being selfish is the most positive part. Because as you create yourself in your image, as you understanding the creation of yourself in your image, everything that you now think in mentalism, your thoughts, the mind is all, everything is mental, now will correspond to your thoughts in the vibration and frequency that you put out. So you're understanding your balance in your gender, your masculine and your feminine energy keeps you in balance. And then you understand why at this level, at a devolved sense, the counterfeit energy of this being created over here and this being created over here is to better understand it on a devolved sense, to keep power. It's all about energy. If I can keep you battling about gay rights and transgender rights, I still have your energy because I have your attention. If I can say some shit in the news that the KKK is we acknowledge them as a terrorist organization, you forget that every time something no longer serves a purpose for them, it becomes the enemy. Bin Laden, Castro, Gaddafi. They no longer serve the purpose. So they switched them from positive to negative. The conspirators is upset. Positive to negative. But in order to understand that, in order to get to that positive, you got to understand the negative. They still put out stuff about Gaddafi every once in a while, talking about he did this and he was a slave, da da da, and all this. That was to minimize and to make him seem savage, so it's okay on your heart to why he died, why they got rid of him, why they did what they did. But then you look at the balance of the spiritual shift. You look at shit with Kobe. What does it all mean? What did he do? He was this, and this. Motherfuckers look at Kobe like he did everything to the existence of their mind perfect. He even cheated perfectly. What does it all mean? And then they'll put out, oh, Kobe was writing occult books. Books on the occult for young black minds. Now the Christians are like, oh, see, God don't like ugly. He don't like that devil shit. So now they have their balance. They can stay in their perfect little imbalance, they can stay in their little polarity and stay where they're at. But for when we're coming higher, we understand like, oh, okay, it's deeper. He was doing something against them, and the ultimate sacrifice, let's get that energy from him before he gets too powerful. He showed his hand. We got to get out of the aspect of showing our hands. We keep showing our hand. We keep showing our reaction. We keep showing our emotion to shit that doesn't even fucking matter after it's already fucking been done. That body lay on the ground, blood out of the body. Before the body even turns fucking cold, the spirit is released. The soul is gone. It's released. It was never there. That motherfucker free. Based on what that motherfucker did in his works, is if he's gonna make a return trip. That's the only thing I think about. Like, damn. Taking yourself out of this mentality, getting your heart in line, because your heart is your true mind. Everything that you carry in your heart becomes a thought, negative or positive. If it's on your heart, it's in your mind. Therefore, it becomes a burden or a regret or something that you try to repress. And then you constantly look for things to repress and keep it repressed. And then you get into the unconscious alchemy of conjuring up spirits, alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be. You're conjuring up spirits on the lower level to numb your demons. I don't like drinking because I don't like the way I be feeling when I'm drinking. I don't like the smoke because I don't like the way I feel when I smoke. I don't like dealing with life, and then it just goes bigger and bigger. I don't like dealing with life like this. That's why I drink, or I take a little sip before I go to work, or I take a puff before I go to work, just to deal with life. So you're doing it from the lower level. You're taking yourself into the higher realm that you don't have no control over. So you lose control. So then that's when the blackout occurs. Then you negatify yourself. Your ego tells you you were drunk. That's why you didn't remember when you wrecked that car. So it blocks out the cause. It blocks out the cause of the problem. It shows you your cause or it shows you your effect. It doesn't show you both and how they coincide. Everything has a correspondence. So everything happens based on that correspondence of the events, of your intention, of your knowledge, and your belief in whatever you're doing. So magic works. But if you're in your the lower half of your understanding of yourself, you see the magic or you see the ritual as demonic. See how that program works. You see the ritual as demonic. So all you see is the demonics. Oh my God, the fucking Grammys were so fucking demonic. All of them were holding up devil signs. They constantly give praise and worship to your animal self. They've made you the scapegoat and they've made you a savage, but you didn't put two and two together. They sacrifice the human half of yourself with no problem at all. You're their parents. So the ultimate form of sacrifice to retain power is sacrifice. You sacrifice something you love based on your level of understanding. So if we look at the devolved sense of their behaviors, they are incapable of true love based on our understanding of love. They're devoid of understanding based on our level of intelligence, based on their intellectual. So everything that they do is in direct correspondence with your energy, and they do what they feel is acceptable based on their morality. Then they create a law. In reflection of you are the creator of laws. And then use that law to battle your humanity. And then you get stuck in the back and forth. Everybody's a separate sect. Then Moorish science, that's the law. They can't go too far into it. Or, nah. They only can tell you. You always can tell when somebody's stuck in a certain structure. They only can tell you so much. They can't hold their hand out. That's the reason the black church stays so prominent where it's at. Because it tells them what keeps them emotionally bounded and safe instead of giving them discomfort. I'm not trying to keep you emotionally comfortable. I want you to be uncomfortable. I want you to be in discomfort. I want you to think. But I want you to think off the balance of not thinking based on emotion. Because my reflection and understanding is I can't move off of trauma at all costs to my knowledge. What are the traumas? The shit that they program and give you distraction for every day. So I don't pay attention to those things in the aspect of, see, that's why I don't. Nah, I used to do that. I may do that from time to time, and that's where that ego check comes in. So I don't fuck with them now. I don't care. Truly putting yourself in a balance of understanding position for yourself where you truly don't care. That's what it means not to really give a fuck. I can walk into a room full of white people and say whatever the fuck is on my fucking mind and truly not give a fuck. I can walk into a room full of dead motherfuckers, talk about real nigga this, bad bitch that, say some shit, and not truly give a fuck what their response is. Because I understood my purpose for doing it. I understood the consequence of my action in the moment that I said it. Because I'm on a different vibration. We're on a different path. We're in a different frequency. Once you start moving in that once you start moving in this mindset, once you start advancing in your shadow work and going into that mindset of you taking yourself to the next level, you start seeing things and start doing things differently. Your level of consciousness is not based on what you wear. I can go put on the other 80 fucking beads that I own from when I was studying the Orishas and the Congo rites and speak from that level. But I'd be stuck in that level serving the Orishas and the Congo rites, not embracing that I am the Orishas, that I am that energy. For my lack of, so now that I have a deeper understanding, that's my power, that's me, let me get that. So I can become the eater of words, so to speak. The motherfucker that set the Silver Surfer out, that nigga was doing what the fuck he was supposed to do. That's what we should be doing. The devourer of the knowledge of every world that we come into, and it's using it for our rise to our next self. Our domain, our dominion, our rise, our strength, our power. You can't change nothing at this level because it was designed for this level. The only way, I always say this, the only way you actually can change anything is going the level above it. Or you can go below it, whichever one's better for you. But I'm always thinking from the higher level. So since I think from the higher level, everything I speak is from the higher level. I come from a higher space. I am understanding and growing in the understanding and the knowledge of my higher self. So I'm constantly growing in the knowledge of my higher self. So when I speak in tune of my higher self. So anything outside of that no longer exists in the understandings of my lower self. My lower self no longer exists. My lower self no longer exists. My ego no longer exists. None of those things exist at the level that I'm at. That's not me anymore. That's not my power structure anymore. So as I'm at this level, now I'm in the understanding of feeding at this level. But as I feed, it comes with a higher It comes at a higher sacrifice because I understand the sacrifice. I know I have to suspend the thought, human thought, as I'm doing this for none other than myself. Because I understand that ultimately the reflection of myself is my reflection of everything that comes around me will be an understanding of myself. So I can say fuck them kids. Because I'm not speaking to little kids, I'm speaking to young guys. Fuck them niggas over there. I don't speak to niggas. I speak to motherfuckers. I speak to niggas that are in the mindset of becoming gods. I don't speak to bad bitches. I speak to bad bitches that shit never set right, and then they're wanting to become goddesses. I don't speak to your fear. I speak to your wanting to understand that. That's the mindset and mentality that we need to start following. That's the mindset and mentality at a higher level that keeps you in tune with your righteousness of a God, your righteousness of yourself. When you look at that tree of life, down here, this is earth. That's this realm that we're in now. Humanity, feeding, exploitation, addiction. That's this level down here. You go up here on the two top tiers, there's the rings of Saturn, which is a portal into your animal self and understanding your higher self. And then you have Thoth, which is the dark. You got to go in this realm to even get to this realm. This portal takes you here. So now you're behind Earth, or you're dead. The living are dead and the dead are living. In order for you to understand that you're alive, you have to see constant death around you. You know niggas is dead around here. And to get to the next level, you got to be fully no longer here. That's what the examples that are being shown to you. Everything that you put worship into is going to die. Everything that you once worshipped unconsciously is about to die. There's going to be a lot of Christians running around asking, wondering why, because there's going to be a lot more death or transitions, as we understand. Kobe, Prince, Michael Jackson, all transitions. Did you get sad or did you tap into the energy? Did you tap into that ether? How are you using that energy? How is the marathon continuing in your life? How is the Mamba's instinct of your life? How is that Mamba mentality being used in your life? How is that purple rain cleansing your life? How is that never, never land mentality working in your life? Everything is fuel for you to rise to your next self. How is the hands up and don't shoot? What are you throwing your hands up saying I'm done with it and moving forward? That's that level of understanding. Breaking those morality rings, being stuck on, that's why I don't fuck with this and that's why I don't fuck with that. That leaves you stuck on one side of the plane. I don't fuck with white people. All right, cool. So now you only have one decision. Either you're going to be dealing with niggas or white. Which one? Man, niggas is just do nigga shit. So why wouldn't you submit to the attributes of the higher aspects because they're just lower aspects of you. Everything that they do is a lower, remember, is a lower devolved state of you. Their behaviors and everything become the opposite. That's how you submit to the attributes of the ideal. You become the attributes that are ideal of your higher self and not your lower self. That's how you go into higher understanding, the higher worlds, and higher learning. You cannot do anything at the level where it was created, because it was created for that level. It was created for that reason. It was created for that space. It was created to that light, that Sifra was created to maintain that space. Your exoteric understanding, that the lack of knowledge in the esoteric keeps you stuck in the outer rings, never getting onto the planet. So if you sit here and say fuck Tauruses and fuck Scorpios and Capricorns and fuck signs that are not your sign or in your box, you're saying fuck parts of yourself. When you say fuck Jesus, and it took me a while to even understand that part. When you say fuck Jesus, you're saying fuck yourself. Because you're Jesus. You're Allah. You're Buddha. They took their understanding of what you were, and so you wouldn't come back and take your shit back. They demonized it. They took your shit in your sleep, in your amnesia, put you in a mindset, and then said, nah, this ain't you. It doesn't look like you. It doesn't walk like you. It doesn't talk like you. So it's not you. But you act out unconsciously every energy and every principle of every energy that's in this realm worldwide. North, South Pole, above and below, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, you act it out anyway. Most of our queens, y'all run around acting like Kali anyway when y'all angry. Ready to lay waste to every fucking thing. But since you're serving your emotions, you serve yourself. You serve Kali. You don't become Kali. So you serve Kali at her lower, you don't become Kali at her higher. Most niggas around here dancing, looking like dancing like Shiva all the fucking time, embracing and serving that lower half of the energy, becoming dancing niggas. The Chris Browns and the Omarions and the archetypes of that nature, the dancing of that nature. There was a very interesting part in the No Guidance video. And Chris Brown's entire character in that video, from the shit he said to the lines that he was saying, the color schemes, even down to his album, it all had remnants of Prince and Michael Jackson through all of his albums. Even when Chris Brown first came out, he had that Ike energy. No one likes talking about that shit. That was that Ike energy. And then the Michael Jackson energy, and then to the Prince energy. Not saying that he's consciously doing it. I don't study it to that point. But there's an understanding of using energy that they do understand on using energy based on their intellectual understanding. So they use that energy. They use those visuals. They use that, damn, but that boy moving like, oh, hit, boy moving like Prince. It just takes one old head to say that. Can't nobody be Prince. Can't nobody be Michael Jackson. Can't nobody be Barry White. Can't nobody be these characters. But these characters are repeated over and over and over again. You can easily link Barry White to Biggie and Biggie to all the big niggas. That energy. I remember for a while when Ty Dolla $ign came out, everybody was like, "Oh, that's that Nate Dogg energy." It's just a repeat of the energy over and over and over again at this level. That's all it's doing. Until you catch it, it's just going to keep repeating itself. Until you catch it, you can't tap into it. You're just going to keep going over and over and over again, stuck in the polarity, stuck in the polarity, stuck in the polarity, until you catch it and you decide whether it's going to serve your higher or your lower purpose. Your acceptance. What are you willing to die for? What are you willing to be crucified upon? That crucifixion of yourself? That death of your human self on that cross? To embrace your everlasting life or your halo, which is the top part of the cross, which turns into an ankh anyway? Your halo is the wisdom, the spiritual understanding. Embracing yourself at a higher level in your spiritual self. They give you the distraction. This is why women can't do this and why women won't do this and why women won't do this, because they act shit like that. They ask the question everybody needed to ask anyway. That goes in line with KRS-One did a interview on Cannon Class. It's on YouTube. He was like, your paycheck basically I'm paraphrasing, but he said your paycheck, the amount of your paycheck determines what you say out of your mouth. Your payment or what they give you determines what you say out of your mouth. It determines the value, the validity, the vitality, the energy, the power that you speak and you wield. To speak at a level requires a higher responsibility and accountability that you are not going to get at a certain level. You cannot be corrupted at you cannot be corrupted at the lower level. Everything else falls into place according to the cues of your life and what you decide and you do. I can give a fuck less about what a motherfucker thinks and what a motherfucker feels. That's dead. I can care less about the actions and the reciprocity, the reciprocation that a person says that's below me. The worst thing they can do in their mind to me becomes the best thing that can be done to myself in my mind. The worst thing that they can do to a God that is restricted is to release them from their vessel. So the worst thing they can do is release me from my vessel. In me understanding that takes me to that level of tapped into my spiritual energy, my power, that I'm indestructible at this level. Until I have done everything I am supposed to do, I'm good. But there's a step before that I had to come into that realization. I had to come into that context. You got to come into that context. And coming into that context is removing that morality, removing that humanity, removing that ego, neutralizing and taking that shit down over there and sacrificing that in order to understand the true inline version of yourself. That's how you tap into that energy. You do that by studying all and following none. You do that by saying that fucking shit has nothing to fucking do with me. You do that in that hermit stage. You do that in the separation. You do that in getting your heart and your home together. If you're not putting your heart and getting your home and your heart in order, then you're really not doing anything. You're not putting any work. You just stuck in a polarity. Wondering why everything keep vibrating the exact fucking same. You keep getting uncomfortable and dizzy. Why you feel sick? Because you ain't putting in no fucking work. There's times where I feel sick. I know I'm not putting in any fucking work where I'm supposed to be working. A couple of weeks ago, they didn't know what the fuck. They said I had flu symptoms, but I didn't have the flu. So they couldn't give me flu medication. But I knew already that I was not working on my shit. So my body and my mind and my spirit got together and was like, shut it down. Make that nigga sit on the couch. I still ate gangs. I was fucking mad, fucking hungry. Ate a bunch of fucking food. Ordered Panera bread like 7 times, like probably 6, 7 times that fucking week. But I was sitting in here studying and reading, getting ready for that lecture for that week. I was putting shit together, new consultations. I was setting up classes. I was setting up appointments. I was putting in fucking mad work on the shit I was supposed to do. And by the end of my 3 days, it felt like a fucking week. I was back in alignment. I was back stronger than ever. Once you're in, you only can go one of 2 ways. Back to the church or deeper into the dark. Go back into that light or go back into that dark. Your ego is going to challenge that. You can see the reflection of a lot of woke, spiritually conscious brothers, sisters. You can tell their whole mindset is changed of what they say, how they speak, what they speak on, how deep they go in, how deep they might not go into this. They might not say that. They may not say this. You can tell that they've changed and that their ego has came into play. They found a happy place. I'm just going to keep feeding from this. Found a happy place. I'm going to feed from this. This space right here is perfect for me. If that's you, fine, so be it. But you must accept it in full. Everything that comes with that level. What we've been showing at this level down here, that everything that you accept based on the level of what you at, you must accept the corruption or that negative and the rise or that positive to in tune and balance yourself at this level. Or you'll find yourself in constant disbalance and you'll be unfulfilled. That's where unfulfillment comes from. It's a lack of balance or understanding of your balance of yourself. Balancing your morals and balancing your morals to the weight of humanity, balancing your intelligence to intellectual to the thoughts of humanity or human thought, the ultimate vex and the ultimate sin to your true self. That's what locks you into the space that you're in when you come into this level. Now, I don't want to do that no more. Man, fuck that shit. It's not right. I don't care about what's wrong or right. I'm thinking about what serves me and what doesn't serve me. My mindset is in that scenario. Therefore, anything that comes to me, I can see it from the understanding of the scenario. Does it serve me? Does it not serve me? I'm not looking at it. We're not supposed to look. We're not going to look at it from the aspect of that just seems bad. You shouldn't have kicked that dog. That dog shouldn't have been in my way. You shouldn't have yelled at that little kid. Where mother at? Wasn't he supposed to be attached to his mother? I remember when I went out when I was little, my mother would let us run up and down the damn aisles all the fucking time. And no matter what, she always knew she can catch us because she knew exactly where the hell we were going. The candy or the juice aisle. She knew if we went to Walmart or a joint that had electronics, she knew she'll find me in the electronics section. She knew exactly where the fuck we were at. And we knew not to stray too far from her because she had the money. At this level, they know where you're not going to stray at because you're not going to stray away from the shit that you need. As long as a motherfucker knows as long as a person can identify with what you need, your needs and wants, they can own you. He who controls your emotions is your master. So if you're hungry, that's an emotion. He who can feed you is your master. Can you feed yourself? Then you've mastered yourself. Are your emotions contained? Then you mastered yourself. Self-mastery is the major key to your shadow work. Until you can master your own urges and your own desires, you are in control of the world is in control of you. Once you master yourself, you master the world. That's the whole thought process when you look at Baphomet sitting on top of the earth. He is enlightened. He is the enlightened one with the flame in most depictions of his higher self. He understands the dominion of his humanity. That's why he smirks. He has the knowledge. He has the knowing. Be right back. You know, we always take that break around this time. But yeah, when you look at the Baphomet, he has mastered this level. He has mastered this level based on his intelligence and his intellectual being of his animal self. So, when you look at the devolved sense of the reflection of the white man, they have mastered this level. They've mastered this level. Money, greed, money, all that other shit, they've mastered this. So they're the masters of this domain. So in order to understand this level, to understand your balance, you got to understand them. Once you understand that they're nothing simply more than a distraction and a reflection of your lower self, you start understanding, like, the more I understand my lower self, the more I understand what they are. Even in your life, the more you understand certain aspects of people that were in your life at a certain point in time, they were a reflection of your lower self, your want, need, your emotions. Once you have mastered your emotion at that level, or whatever vex or whatever totem they were for, they really serve no purpose. That's where the emotions come in. But that's my mother. I don't like my mother. I don't be fucking with my mom. I don't fuck with my family. Why? Cause they all in the church and they all this and they all that. You wouldn't even care about them if you understood why they were stuck in the church. The same reason that they're stuck in the church and it resonates with you and it irks your soul, irks your spirit every time they talk about something about Jesus, because you don't have an understanding of Jesus yet. I understand their devotion. I understand certain family members of myself in their devotion to Jesus, because I carry that same devotion in me being the Christ. My brothers is out there with Allah and Moorish and all that. I have an understanding of why they're so devoted to that. And then it shows me the reflection. It helps me understand why they won't remove themselves from certain things. Most motherfuckers just like being the smartest motherfucker, the smartest nigga on the short bus. That's their thought process. That's their belief. If I can read this book, recite this book, say this about this book, say this over and over and over again, back and forth, and recite it to the best of my ability, and people listen to me and they get emotional, then I own them and I can feed off of them as much as I want to. I don't have to remove myself from this space. People are getting stuck in these spaces based on what they're getting from it and not understanding that how much are you willing to sacrifice to stay where you're at? You do not put in this much work to stay the same. You don't. It's an asinine thought to even put into your mind to stay at a certain level with the knowledge that you've obtained. Because understanding knowledge is infinite, you understand your power is infinite. Therefore, you can step in and be like, yo, you know what? I need to start doing this more. You go into that natural hunger of knowing. On the lower levels, that eating processed food and always eating the processed food, they always said processed food gives you a processed mind. Everything that you needed was right there in that burger. So I'm gonna go get that burger. That appeased my emotions. I ain't gotta go nowhere else but McDonald's because I know they got the burger I want. They know they got the quarter pounder with cheese. I ain't gotta go nowhere else because I know I can go to Taco Bell. I go get my fucking nachos that they bring out every fucking year and they try to sell them in a different box, or get some nacho cheese fries. I ain't gotta go nowhere else. I got everything I need right here. I got everything I want right here. Why don't I feel fulfilled? I gotta have a different chick in my bed every fucking night. I gotta have a different nigga paying all my bills. Why don't I feel fulfilled? Because you created your own morality based on your own correspondence of what you needed and what you thought you wanted. None of that was fulfilling you. To worship the ultimate enemy to you is ultimately going to be a celebrity, because they're stuck in the glamour. Their glamour is what keeps you feeding them. Her bundles and her well put together lace front is what keeps you looking at her. His perfect bed is what keeps you to them. It's what keeps you locked into morality. I can do whatever they do and I'll be okay. It ain't about the money, because we understand the money's an illusion. So what is it really keeping them so they can do whatever the fuck they want and never get too fucked up? Because they can sell that image to you. I can sell this image to you that everything's all fine and dandy, and I can go through shit just like you. I can go through a breakup. I can go through heartache. I can go through pain. I'm going through everything you're going through. I'm just at a different level. In the esoteric understanding, you understand that once you're at a certain level, you go through certain shit, you can deal with it a certain way. So that's the reflection of what they're showing you. That's that learning aspect. The higher you get into yourself, the more untouchable you feel. The more energy, the more your energy is more humble. You're more humble to yourself. There'll always be people that are not in control will always be in torment with them. They're in torment with themselves. Their lack of understanding in themselves causes them to put more control on you. So that's why the drug deal is bad. But the politician's good. To extremes. The politician's doing the same thing the dealer's doing. But since I need to change this angle of light so you can't see everything that I'm doing, what I'm doing it for, I'm going to expose the drug dealer. Two sides, same fucking coin. So I can show you this great man and what he does for his queen and what he does for his woman. And I can show you everything that this nigga didn't do for his woman. But they both being fed from the same space. The common factor was, what did she unlock in this one that she didn't unlock in that one? People come into your life at certain points in time to teach you certain shit. Ain't about good or bad. It's about negative and positive. They teach you different things about yourself. Once you've been taught it, you feel it. Once it's like, yeah, there's nothing else there. There's nothing else to expound upon. But your ego is like, you don't like being alone. Think of how many friends you don't have. Think about this and think about that. So then you automatically create subconsciously in your mind, you create pockets in your mind to keep something around you to keep you feeling supreme in the space that you're in. That you can do something in that space for that person. They're your reflection or your totem for you to be okay with what you're at, instead of moving forward as you should. But as you go higher, by natural accordance, more shit, you become more aware of shit, you see more things, you start speaking more shit, and then you start seeing shit, some shit comes redundant. Then you have a decision to make. Am I going to continue having the same talk with this same person every fucking time? Or I'm going to let them do what they do, and if we reconnect, we reconnect. Changing your entire mindset, exactly. And what makes it so crazy is like the phase is never over. The thing about shadow work, the thing about advancing your spirituality, the thing about advancing to your higher self, that shit doesn't stop. Just as the knowledge is infinite, your power is infinite, your structure of you going to your higher is infinite to the higher levels, that shit don't stop. You can make the decision whether you want to stop at a certain level, but in reality, I'm hungry. I want more. I need more. I desire more knowledge. I'm prosperity. I am abundance. I am wealth. Therefore, I want more wealth in the vision of knowledge. I want more wealth in the personification of my prosperity, my abundance. That's all my mind is on. So therefore, everything that comes in my mind is now a teaching aspect of me to get to that. Once you turn your mind into that type of space and your subconscious is locked onto that, your ego can no longer defend against it. Your ego is now neutralized. Now you control your conscious. Now you control your conscious mind. That's that step. You've neutralized what your ego used to do, and now you have put your ego, now you control your conscience. That's how you get into that in tune to your affirmations and intentions. That's how you get into the ability to speak and things come into place. That next phase in that mentalism of that is like, damn, you must accept. And this is where the acceptance parts comes in, not expecting, but accepting. You must accept that you have that power. You must accept everything that comes with it based on every level that you go into. If you're doing what it's supposed to do. So if I sit here and go into a church and the pastor asks me a question, I know I got one or two decisions. Ask the question, even though I already know the answer. Or I say, nah, I'm good. But in that space, reality gonna set in. You are now creating your new cipher for your morality. You are now activating your destroyer concept. Your destroyer concept of you being the generator and the operator and the destroyer. The energy and the power that you now generate from takes your mindset into that where you operate at. So if you operate in the lower levels, the lower vibrations, your energy that you operate, that you now wield and operate, will destroy things at that level. But what will be in its place? Trying to destroy anything at this level is not going to do anything. Because it's just going to be replaced with something of that same energy. Because you're the creator. You created that void or that space. Now that void and space has been created, now something has to put something back there. That's how you'll get stuck. That's how you get stuck thinking about economic plans. That's how you get stuck thinking about economic plans. That's how you get stuck thinking about that ex that you had. Because you'll be in a certain space in your life. Like, you know what? All I need a nigga do is blow my back out. All I need is a bitch to suck my dick. Then you create that aspect of what you need in that space. Now, all you get to see is low vibrational bitches, but they good at sucking your dick. Now you see low vibrational ass niggas, but they get it blowing your back out. Because you created the thought, I don't need a man. I don't need a nigga to pay my bill. If you say you don't need a nigga to do all of these things, guess what you're going to receive? The shell or a mechanism or an apparatus that's going to do what you do need it to do. And since you're feeding from the space of being this strong energy, this strong power, guess how your power gets into that? Guess how your positive energy gets into that negative force? By continually being negative, then you feed it with the positive. You don't understand him, no. He's just going through some things. Man, you don't understand her though, man. It's like she done been through a lot of shit. And then this is how archons feed. This is how archons have been feeding forever. Archons feed off your emotion. I like it because he's crazy. I like him because he's crazy. I like him because he's crazy. He wild. He's strong. He's passionate about that shit. They're not going to try to change you. You're not going to try to change them. At a certain point, you're going to try to start evolving them. And then you don't love them based on them. You love them based on what you can make them. If you can't make them what you want to make them, guess what? Now you hate them. Grander scheme. Think about it. Go back to when I said you grafted something that's all of your negatives. Everything that you didn't want, you did away with, that you denounced, that you didn't need anymore as a god. It had to fall somewhere. You do the shit unconsciously all the time in your fucking mind. Because you don't have an understanding of your divine mind, your divine rights. Because you never could see it happening, but you know it can happen. But since you never create a scenario in your mind of what you would do if it happened, when it arises, you lose your fucking mind and get emotional. Two sides of that same coin. That's a big thing on balance. Compassion. You can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the dark without the light. There's a balance. What is not understood in the dark can still be explained in the light. I mean, what you do understand can be used as the catalyst for your not understanding. That's how you gain your balance in yourself. If you don't, you just repeat the same narratives that you do over and over again every time something happens to you. You'll go through the same structure. That's going back to your natural identity and your unnatural what? The unnatural of who? You're not that person anymore. You ain't been that person for a long ass fucking time. Some of the first battles that whenever I start doing consultations with people, the first thing that they go through is this aspect of, I've always felt different. I've always felt like this. And I always thought about this, but I never questioned this, that, or the third. And I'll be sitting there and I'll listen to them, vibe with them, build off of that. I'm like, so what are some of the questions that you would ask? Okay, write down the questions. While I'm doing that, I'm also asking questions. Every question connects. Every question is an answer. I'll ask another question. It could be something as simple as, tell me about your mom. Tell me a story about your father. Tell me something like this. Building, connecting dots, as we do as psychologists. I'm building a grander picture, or I'm building your tree of life, i.e. study the Kabbalah. I'm breaking down I'm showing you your tree of life, your beginning, down here, which is the earth part, your humanity, and then we get higher into understanding the portals of yourself and the ciphers that you got stuck in. Everybody got different fucking ciphers. Like, they all usually are the same, but I started reading my zodiac and I really started taking it to heart. Okay, that's nice. You started looking at your zodiac. It told me not to deal with these people and told me not to deal with this person on this day, on this month, so I don't deal with those people. Not dealing with it is you're not accepting what the fuck it is you need to learn from them. I love conflict from the higher level. I love argument from the higher level. I love going back and forth on points at an equal balance, but both on open minds. That is my catalyst. You have to have an open mind to engage in a conversation or argument or debate. And we can have some of the greatest conversations, whether it ends on the fact that we never speak again based on your understanding and the level that you want to stay at, or we can have continuous conversations. But that's the only way that I accept, based on the morality that I've created for myself, that's forever changing, forever evolving, that I can accept anybody into my life. To be in tune. That's truly being in tune with your star player, being in tune with yourself. Those conflicts that you have back and forth with others, they're conflicts with you. The conflict with the motherfucker that's Morris Wright, Donovan L. Bay III, Esquire, or that Hebrew Israelite Power Ranger motherfucker. Their structure is based on their perception of what they believe their reality is. You're just battling realities. I watched a video earlier today with the Hebrew Israelites, and the elder had a little bottle of water, and the dude was like screaming out fucking passages from the Bible, and it was still under the intention of the thought process. He said something that was mad interesting to me. He was like, for going against your Lord and your Savior, your enemy, you have to go to your enemy for everything. Food, marriage, whatever you need to do, you have to go to your enemy for it. And I took it to the esoteric, automatic understanding. That shit brought an insight to me. By you denouncing your highest self, to go to everything outside of us to get what we need. That's what that means on that one level, one interpretation of how you're falling from your grace. Why you have to depend on the white man to do this and depend on the white man or somebody to do something. Denounce tapping in and understanding your higher self, what you truly are. That's why you're a savage at this level, but a god at the higher level. They worship your savagery because it reminds them of them. That's why they keep you in that savage light. That's why they make the angry black man character. That's why they make the angry black woman character. That's why they make the wayward orphan child character. These are all attributes of their understanding of you and a reflection of how they see you, how they understand you, because it's a reflection of them. You absorb it all emotionally and return it back to them like, that's not me. And then that feeds their evolved sense of behavior of being seek and destroy. So it automatically sets in their mind, okay, cool, that's not you, then we destroy you. That's how you've been taught. That's how most of us got taught in subjective thought. If it doesn't serve what I need it to be, then I destroy it. I don't need it. I make it bad. I make it evil. I make it dark. And that's further programming. I make it devoid of what I needed to see it as. And you do that shit over and over and over again. But that energy has to go somewhere. You have to create a totem. Read rituals and sigil magic. You got to create a sigil and a totem for it. And then you create it unconsciously. And it fits the image of what you needed to fit. That's how strong your power is. Think about how strong your power is. You created the real nigga archetype, and now all you see is real niggas. You put everything that you denounced from your higher self into the archetype of a real nigga, totem, bad bitch, totem. You created that based on your needs and wants and what you desire truly for yourself. Now that, exactly. So then you look over there, you like, wait, I don't go over there because that's the niggas over there. But then you'll find a reason your ego will be like, but they got the best fried chicken over there at the fucking spot over there. They always listen to all the music you listen to over there. You know they got drink specials. Man, I might go over there for a little bit. And then you suspend your higher self. Now that you're suspended your higher self, your thoughts can now run rampant in the negative realm because it's a negative realm. You know exactly what to expect over there. Just because you suspended the use of your higher self does not mean that your higher energy is not being used. It's now put into the catalyst of chaos. So now you step into that chaos. Now that your thoughts are stronger, your vibration is stronger than that whole level, you're going to naturally feed the chaos. It's all negative over there. You're the only positive shit that went over there. You're the only thing positive that went over there in that space. So every negative thought that you have is automatically going to be charged and it's dropped off into each person. That's why I don't be fucking with them niggas over there, because they keep doing nigga shit. And that's how you get stuck. But them, man, that's my family, man. You know, family's family. And, man, no matter what the fuck they going through, they family, man. I still fuck with them. Okay, cool. Now you base your morality of the family archetype, what you no longer are in relation to, so it's not familiar to you. So whatever you're going to say is not going to be familiar to them. So then you set yourself up like, oh, I'm tired. Why am I tired? You know why you tired. Because you went to that fucking club. You went to that family event. I also had a thought process about family reunions. And I thought about that earlier. Family reunions are, in a certain aspect, family reunions, barbecues. Remember, everything that they show you on TV now, it no longer serves you a purpose. Think about that in media. When they show you something on television, it no longer serves you a purpose on your higher self. So you always look at all these good cookout movies and family reunion movies. I forgot which Tyler Perry movie it was when they did the family reunion shit. But the elder was standing in front of the little shack. This is where your family started from. This is where your great-great-grandfather and your great-great-grandmother started everything that you see today. So now your mind gets perpetually stuck in, we started in slavery. Let me give you the image. We started in slavery. Three days later on FX, they'll show you Gods of Egypt. And show you a bunch of tanned white people. Look at it as light. They put light on an image that is truly you. That's how you get your power back. So it don't matter what the fuck they show up there, because your ego no longer can defend from it. That's how you tap into the higher aspects of yourself. Neutralizing your ego so you can see it no matter what it's shown as. You see the truth in it. All they can do is remake movies any fucking way. Bounded in conflict. Bonded in the polarity of conflict. Bonded to the lower half of their duality. So everything that corresponds, because all these laws go together, everything that corresponds has to be based on a separate aspect for them to understand it. So now they can manipulate the image. So in the spiritual war aspect of it, they tell you gender doesn't exist, so they can program it in your mind that the law of gender doesn't exist. They downplay mentalism and give you an intellectual aspect of it. So therefore, now you can't look at it from the intelligent aspect of the mind is all and everything is mental. They tell you to keep floating. Spirituality is about floating, but spirituality is actually grounding yourself and standing on your square. So then they can play the vibration card doesn't exist. You got to be on a certain vibration. How are you going to attach to a vibration if you stuck on floating on something? Because you suspended your thought process of the masculine and the feminine. You suspended your thought process of understanding cause and effect. You suspended your aspect of vibration, cause and effect, correspondence, gender. You suspended your thoughts, thus not serving your higher self, thus being punished by your lower self. That's how you punish yourself. And then you further create the punishments all in your own mind by the conduits and the totems that you've already created. Something to blame your shit on. Something has to be your devil. But to them, you're their devil. Two sides, same fucking coin. So are you battling? I want to battle the white man. You battling yourself. Fighting him on his plane where he wins. They're physical. All they can be is physical. All they can be is physical representations of your whole mentality anyway. Your own divine mind. The more you understand your mind, the less they exist. The more you go into your spiritual intelligence to suspend that morality shit, the more you exist on the plane that you need to exist on. They don't matter. Everything that needs to be where it needs to be will be as it needs. Everything will correspond as it needs to be, where it needs to be, as it needs to be, based on your mentality. Everything that needs to vibrate is on the frequency that needs to, everything that needs to move at that certain frequency, that vibration at that level will be there. You got to be willing to let the process happen. You got to be willing to let that shit happen. You got to be willing to allow that transition and that death to happen. If you ain't willing to do that, what are you putting in this work for? She'll get it one day. Then it's your job to wait on him. He's right there. Then it's your job. Your job is to provide the knowledge, plant the seed. Your job is to lay the breadcrumbs. Nothing should stop you from going to your higher self. Nothing should stop you from being the best you. But it's lonely. Okay. In that same light, you'll say that you'll hate being alone. In that same light, you'll say something about the ancestors. You got 6 billion cells within your body, all wanting you to do the right thing. All different aspects of the DNA within inside of you is your ancestors or somebody that came before you. In direct physical representation, you see everything that's always fucking happened. It was designed this way to show you how strong you actually were. This ain't for the weak. This ain't for the weak. This ain't gonna be for the motherfuckers that don't want to actually put in the work. You got that tap on the shoulder. You got that tap on the forehead. Wake up. It's your turn. You got that calling. They didn't get the calling. You did. They didn't get that energy or that representation. You did. So it's not for them. It's for you. They ain't going to get it in the context that you got it. It's for you. They ain't going to get the interpretation that you got. It's for you. The only thing that's fucking important is you. The only thing about the structure of time is the alignment. The alignment is always now. Based on your level is what you're ready for. That level is not showing you what you're not ready for. It's showing you that you're ready for the next level. That's your strength. That's your power. That's your balance. That's your structure. That's what you need to do. People want to talk about their higher selves, but don't want to put in that work. You got to put in this work. You got to put in that growth. You got to put in that strength. You have to put this shit in. Shit ain't for the weak. I said it every week during the podcast. This shit ain't for the weak. This shit ain't for the motherfuckers. This shit ain't for the weak. That was showing shit. Everybody has two purposes. One purpose is for self. So by nature, the other purpose is the extreme opposite of self. Tethering these two purposes together is what creates the what of you are, being the light in the dark, being the good and the bad, what's depicted in the Bible. You are the light and the dark. You are the gift. You are the curse. The duality or the androgyny. Two extremes in balance. You rise into your higher self is going to cause a lot of death to everything that was in your lower self. You're naturally going to become evil to ones that are not on that level. That's being a god, androgyny. Your knowledge is going to create the wisdom in nurturing yourself. It's going to nurture exactly what it needs to nurture. You got to take it out of that aspect. Remember, take it out of an aspect of good and bad and negative and positive. You are going to nurture your true self. You're going to nurture that wisdom. You're going to nurture and become humble to that wisdom. You got to become humble to yourself first. You can see somebody that's not humble with themselves because of their anxiety whenever you're humble and they can't stop you from doing what you're doing. You can't be manipulated. You can't be moved. You can't be put into a mindset that other motherfuckers telling you some shit that ain't got nothing to do with you. This goes deeper into like conversations. Motherfucker says, if a person says about me, tells somebody that knows me or that knows of me that nigga worship the devil, that person is doing consciously and unconsciously what I need them to do. That's how I look at it. They're taking away the guesswork if I'm going to deal with this person on another level. Let the knowledge do what it's supposed to do. Let their belief consume them, and your knowledge grow you. Let their belief consume them, and your knowledge release you. Allow their arrogance to be your release, so they no longer can feed upon you. The moment that you want to go over there and debate with that motherfucker on the shit that you know and understand, knowing they ain't got a fucking understanding of it, is the moment that they now can feed from you, because they know they can get you emotional. You'll make the excuse, I'm passionate. If you're truly passionate about yourself, you're truly passionate, you're truly compassionate, you're truly in love with yourself, all those conversations don't fucking even come across your radar to make sense. It don't make sense for me to have conversations with certain motherfuckers. It don't make sense for me to have certain arguments with certain motherfuckers because their lack of understanding in the opening one book that I can say, hey, open that. Hey, you read this book? You read this page? You read this chapter? Even their mind, even their narrow-mindedness, they'll read them and be like, oh, that's where you got all your information from? No, that's one of the ones I got my information, my knowledge, my information from. And understanding to be able to understand well how I can speak from this level. Damn. Okay. All these motherfuckers are looking for is arguments. They stuck in conflict, so they want you stuck in conflict. They stuck in a paradigm of ain't shit happening, ain't nothing better than what they're doing right now, so they want you stuck in that same mindset. Their perception is their reality. They want to promote their perception and their reality, their fears, their stripes, their struggles, their oppression on you, so they'll constantly tell you that shit. That's how you, this is how as a God, you start providing judgment. That weighing that heart against the heart of a, weighing your heart against the weight of a feather. This is how you become the God. This is how you understand what it is to be a God. Your responsibility, your accountability, your mindset in being a God. Being humble to what you are. Being humble to your knowledge. Being humble to accepting the knowledge from your higher self as you rise. Morality is going to challenge that. Humanity ego is going to challenge that. These things are going to be challenged by those things. But you're strong enough for it. You weren't strong enough for it, you wouldn't be listening to this message. You wouldn't get the message. That's how you can tell where you're. This is how you tell how you're gravitating and how you're rising. By how you take in the context of the message and are able to interpret it to use it for yourself. Getting out of that mindset that you need a leader, some leader, somebody to lead you to the mountaintop when you got your own hands and feet. While we riding the vibe of this closeout, put some things out there and then questions, thought process the other day you want to get out there, interpretations that you had, drop them over in the comments. I have started the first wave of appointments and consultations. Started the first wave putting a lot of the content together for those conversations. If you are something in you is resonating to want to have go with a consultation for coaching and the teaching, Set Carlo Nijas is my email. Or you can leave me a message in my inbox on Facebook, inbox on Instagram. Upon that, we'll set up the time and the date for you. I do a lot of those via if I'm not local or I don't make the trip there. We do a lot of it via Skype. Once the funds have been transferred, I'll send you the Skype number and your email. So we'll trade emails, information. You'll get the number, and then we'll start guided meditations, shadow work, candle magic works, ritual building, understanding creating your own sigils, a lot of good stuff. And you tapping into the higher you, understanding your power. What else? I think that was about it. I had another one. But I was reading, I actually saw a picture, and then I remembered I had the book, access to the book. The book is written by got a name. I think it shows it here. Yeah. Helena Blavatsky. And that's what led me to actually the ring of morality, the what you call it. She said the harmony within must be attained and fleshly eyes must be rendered blind to all illusion. Your harmony and your balance, everything that you're trying to attain, truly attain to be yours, not to be. There's a difference between at this level, shit being attained at this level is it's at the cost of somebody else being able to give it to you. The truest form of creation or understanding your power to create is suspending yourself from the morality of things that you're not willing to encompass, not in thought. And when I say this, I'm not saying it in thought of go out and go shoot a bunch of people to go make some money or go sell dope or whatever. I'm saying in the aspect of building that scenario in your mind to be suspended from the guilt of even having to think a certain way. You have to suspend your mind from disabling yourself to be able to think in a certain way, to be able to absorb something from a certain space. You have to take yourself out of subjective thought of like, nah, that's bad. I can never see that. Because when you look at how when you historicalize it, you look at how the United States was created, it was created off of some low end immoral shit. The chaos of immorality, of shit being immoral. After it was already created, so you wouldn't look at it. This is how you think about it. So you wouldn't look at it. They created the laws and the structure based on morality, based on intellectual. So you wouldn't tap into the intelligence of what the fuck that raw power energy was. Whether you look at how NASCAR was created through prohibition and liquor, how drugs were the major staple of the United States and still are, you won't be able to look at the law. You won't be able to look at it from the grander scheme of how everything was created. And you'll steady be fighting on one side or the other. It's fucked up, man, that they made weed legal and they didn't release everybody out of prison. They need to release the motherfuckers out of prison. Okay. Now what they're gonna do next? Open-ended thought. Are you gonna provide them a job? Man, I ain't got a job to give them. So what? So what purposing? They're getting everything they need in that prison. Subjected to the law, they're subjected to what they're subjected to in that space, but they're getting everything that they need to survive in that space. The biggest aspect of becoming a God and understanding exactly how strong being a God is are you able to provide the knowledge and the space in the environment, in the alignment, in the teaching for that person to survive in the realm that you're trying to take them to? If you haven't done it for yourself, that's what it means by getting your heart in order, getting your home in order. If you can't do it for yourself and you do it for others, your expectancy is someone else is going to do it for you. I expect nothing from anything outside of me, and I accept everything that comes. That mindset is a humbling, that destroys your ego and it humbles you. When you speak power into yourself, you speak humbling yourself. The devolved sense of that is trying to be superior, have dominion over somebody else. The lesser gods. Why are the gods dying? They're not being worshipped. The reason you haven't died yet is because you're still being worshipped. You just don't see how you're being worshipped. You don't see the sacrifices that they make to your emotions because they have you switched off backwards. So now they know how to tap into the energy of you. I'm going to go kill a couple niggers. You get emotional. You cause an uproar. You want to go march. That power goes back to them. Instead of you accepting it, that nigga, yes, my nigga, free. I hope he did I hope that nigga did the work he was supposed to do, or he coming right back here. That's the mindset that you move in. That's the mindset that I move in. Because I'm thinking from a higher space. I'm tapped into that higher context. This takes shadow work, an ongoing process. You have the table of contents. You have every book you know. You have every book you need written within you. Everything outside you, remember, is just a reflection of the book that's already in there. Your table of contents is already written. Everything's written in your book of life inside of you. You just got to be willing to tap into each chapter and embrace everything that it holds in that chapter and learn. That processed hunger got to come to raw energy, raw power. I want that hunger. I'm hungry. I think that's why guys like sugary shit. The reason I think I eat candy is because of the sugar rush. Because I'm indulging as a God would. But I have understanding of balance. That I understand that since I'm still in the physical form, I know I got to do certain aspects to my physical form, but I know I need to indulge my God self. That's why the altars are set up the way they get set up. That's why you set up things around you as conduits to your power. I always say this. I think I did it one time. But this space is open for questions. Got a question? It don't have to be related to the topic. We covered a lot of topics tonight. Question, comment, concern, ideals. You can sign up for consultation through the comments, and I'll shoot you the email, and we can start building from there. Outside of that, I love y'all, and I thank y'all for the support. The more I teach is the more I learn, the more hungry I become. And that's a big reason why I can drop a lecture every week, every Friday on schedule, is because my mind is at that level where it's like I got to keep getting it off to get more in. Once you're at this level, you realize don't nothing stop you but your own mind. What's my goal this week for myself and not in your work? I know what you meant. My goal for this week is pretty much the same goal every week. And I don't consider what I do anymore as work. I guess that was like one of my goals. I never wanted it to seem like work. Because if I think of it as work, I think of it as a job. I think of it as a job. I think about a wage. And then I take away what I'm willing to speak on and what I'm willing to say. So I think my goal, one of my main goals is to take my passion and put it deeper in everything that I do. I'm driving away from, like I take away the thought process of work because every aspect is naturally already that. It's like everything I do is synonymous to the same thing. So I'm open. I give an example. My brother, his mom is in the hospital. She's having heart complications. I was like, I'm here, bro. My brother's coming into his consciousness. He's battling through his conflicts. So on our ride there, the questions he was asking me, they were less like the questions he used to ask me, and there were more context towards like he was like, yo, I've been like on my days off, like I just been sitting there going back watching your lectures and catching on things. He was like, he asked me, what does it all mean? And I was like, we rolled the sides for a little bit. I really had to think about it. But then when we got there, and I was talking to like his mother was sitting there. Mother's laying there. She's a little lady. She's one of them cute moms. And it came to me. I was like, this is the reasoning for it. I was like, your mother represents you, your heart, to an extension of you that's your heart. That is you. Like everything that is your mother, the way his mother loves her energy, that's what you are. The purposing of this in the interpretation that I gave him was her rhythms be out offset is your rhythms are being offset and where you're going for in your life, in your transition. She's the direct reflection of that. All the energy that you put into everything else for everyone else, she does that same shit. It's time. I've been told you need to stop doing that shit. It was like, and I remember the first time I sent him a text about everything he was going through. Let me finish that. Then I'm gonna read that question. That question is long as that thing is question. But like, and he was like, "Yo, this was like the first time." Like he was like, "Everything." I went back and read that text message. I was like, "Everything you said, it made sense." I was like, "You coming into the context of your consciousness." Sat up there, the most comfortable sleep ever. But knowing that my brother is stepping into a level that let me understand, like it's moments like that that bring me the humility to my self. That's how you know you're in that right space, because you said what you needed to say in the context of how it needed to be said. It was taken and they used it and they repeated it back in their own understanding. That's how you understand your consciousness. And you understand your conflict. You understand there's certain people around you. You say something to them 16 fucking times, 17 times, they still don't know how to put the pickles on the burger. Let me read this real quick. Had a dream about a harmless, shape-shifting snake and today that at first thought was harmless, but it changed into the form of my little sister and just wanted to be received. By the end, I thought my brother saved me, but I ended up feeling sad for the snake. What color was the snake? A lot of times in the breakdowns of the dreams, similar like tarot cards, whatever, it's usually the colors. Like, look at the color. I look at the colors a lot. The meaning and the feeling behind whatever person it was, stuff like that. That's the stuff I use to break down a lot of interpretations for dreams. That's interesting. I had a dream about a harmless shape-shifting snake today. Black hair, yellow skin. I can't remember what black hair, yellow skin means. That's mad interesting. That's what you posted in your stories. I'll be all over the place. Yes, I do. That's mad interesting. Because I feel I know what the fuck it is. You want to be an asshole. While we up here doing this like this, I know y'all still can see me. I knew it. That's what it was. Dreaming of the black and yellow snake. Oh, shit. Dreaming of the black and yellow snake. Oh, you was in a church. Whoa. Well, this one dream. But like, yeah, I just looked up the black and yellow part with the black and yellow snake. The black symbolizes something good, but the yellow, you're still trying to find your spiritual balance in life. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were in a church. Oh my God. Clear all that. Go here. Yeah, when you dream about black and yellow snake, usually the black's always the good part. Yellow's usually always talking about finding balance. Balancing your roots, balancing yourself. Dreaming about a church is a building. I forgot what that building was. be too much work at once. I got a dream interpretation book somewhere, but I never can find it. But yeah, the black, yeah, your balance. Always seeing a child, like little sister, younger siblings. That's your innocence. That's always a picture. That's always that picture of your innocence. And the church is usually almost always roots versus nuance. Let me look it up again. Dreaming of being in church. Look up this church service part. That's the interesting part. Come here. Pop out, chat. Were you in the church or outside of the church? Okay, guys. Oh, yeah. You were in it. Being inside the church is usually meaning you're searching for your clarity. Being outside the church, I just saw it. Yeah. Daydreaming about being outside of a church symbolizes your values and integrity. Being inside the church can indicate that you are seeking spiritual guidance and clarity. Maybe you've been through a dark time after making a mistake, or you failed someone, you failed somebody, you failed someone or something completely. So as I'm thinking about that part, you seeing your little sister and you crying and that emotion with that, what happened? And you saying she wanted to be received. What happened what happened with your sister in recent or in thought that led you to this is one of those times why I do the consultations, like, tell me more about your sister, basically. What I'm gathering from it is like the snake turned into your sister. Yeah, that's innocence of yourself. That's usually like at that point, that's innocence of yourself, and then when you're traveling to, you're still there's nothing negative anatone that tells about your dream. Basically, your dream is telling you that you are on your path. You're in your space. You're on your path where you need to be going. That 2 or 3, like that's that terrible 2 phase. That's their absorption phase, like before our indoctrination. You're traveling, and basically you're back and forth. You're going through a back and forth with yourself about what you want to do next and how you want to do it. So something in your life, based on your spiritual growth, is challenging the very way you use something that you were used to. I would hope she's grown now. But like, what's the difference between her? What's her difference now? Like, what is her asking these questions? Like, what are her feelings now? What is she going through now? What she's going through? What I'm trying to say, spirit got on me. What she's going through and wanting to be received and accepted is a reflection of you being received and being accepted for your new level, what you're coming into. Doing this on the spot is always great. Yeah, but her being the younger, that's the innocence. Every time someone's in a younger state, like sister, sibling, the younger version, that's the innocence coming open into your awakening. So you're on the next, you're coming into your awakening. You being in the church further symbolizes and reinforces that you're coming into your awakening for your guidance. The snake being black and yellow, that's symbolizing further to your spirit. You're coming into your spiritual self of acceptance. The black is always a positive omen because you're going deeper into it. So all for the suggestion I can do, like, study that part. Study this part about your sister wanting to be received. See how that reflects upon you. And yeah, it's always funny having church dreams. I had a church dream like 2 weeks ago. I was like, why am I here? But that's a whole nother story. Neither here nor there. Yeah, that's also a big thing going into your spiritual self. Bobby Hemming broke that down in a lot of lectures. There's not going to be in your family, and we just talked about that, made it also even more crazy. It's her fear based on understanding, based on what she was indoctrinated in. You got to think about, like, the biggest part about shadow work is the shit that you'll uncover is the reasons to the whys. That's the biggest thing. And that's getting yourself, like, that's where getting yourself in order is the major thing that you have to show. Like, there's that aspect to itself is being afraid of losing things. You don't lose anything. You got to get, you, like, the big thing that you have to to instill to her, to let her know is it worth losing your true self? The knowledge that you encompass on when you're coming into your spiritual awakening, the ultimate sacrifice is always going to be is, do I want to lose my true self? Not who I am, not who I'm known as for making bomb ass dinners or whatever it may be. It's the aspect of understanding what I'm embarking in. Is it worth me sacrificing everything that I knew into the basic understanding of this is me? And then that's when it comes to the aspect of her shadow work is going to be, it's bigger when they're old, when people are older, because it's about time. Everybody's thinking about the conduits of time. They think about the conduits of restriction, and all that shit's going to come out. So if she wants to continue that, walk in that truth, she got to understand the worth of that sacrifice. Earlier on, I understood. I was always the darker one of my family in aspect. Like I really didn't do a lot of the functions. So when my transition started happening, all that shit came to the front. I was like, yo, I'm about to lose my family. Like, wait, I never really knew them like that in the first place. That's interesting as fuck. That's why I want to do an in-person lecture. So fucking stuff like this makes me in tune to actually doing the in-person lecture, because like it's different between motherfucker coming on here. It's a whole different energy. I might end up doing an after hours live. We might do an after hour live tonight on Facebook. I don't want to fill this with questions and all that, and it takes away from what you call it, even though it's getting onto the message. Like, yeah, if you do not follow me on Facebook, matter of fact, you don't follow me on Facebook, open-ended forum, questions and everything, Facebook, Rod Carlo Negus, R.A. Carlo Negus, Negus. I'm going to get situated, set that up. We're going to do an after hours live. We about to do that. Yeah, open forum, after hours live, about 15, 20 minutes from now. Tell a friend. You don't got no friends, tell an enemy. Yeah, we're going to do that in about 15 minutes. I'll see y'all there. As always, I love y'all. We love us. As we rise to our higher self, there's nothing better. This ain't for the weak. This ain't for the weak. If you're not subscribed to Get Inside, I suggest you subscribe to Get Inside. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it's your chance to subscribe, share the knowledge, let the knowledge do what it's supposed to do. If you have not tapped in and tuned in to the God Hour podcast, new episodes every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Capital G dot, capital O dot, capital D dot, capital H, followed by OUR. God Hour podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google, and a couple others. Tune in to tap out, to tap in. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later.